Mega Man was one of my favorite franchises growing up as a kid, and I'm sure that there are other retro gamers out there that would agree with me. The look of Mega Man, the enemies, music, and level layout drew myself and other players in as well. In 1987, we would see the release of Mega Man, and yeah, this was actually the cover art to the game, and that's another story in of itself. It was worked on while another game was being developed. That other game would become another juggernaut of a franchise for Capcom. You might have heard the name before. It's a little game called Street Fighter. Although the original Mega Man was technically unsuccessful, the developers were allowed to create what would be the best-selling game in the franchise in Mega Man 2. They were told they could work on it, but only in between their main projects. That being said, it's quite ironic how a side project was the one to put the franchise on the map. It would go on to sell over 1.51 million copies worldwide. The franchise would go on to be fourth on Capcom's best-selling list with over 36 million sales as of 2021. And us as true gamers can see why. Even with those high sales comes some criticism though. Over the time of the releases, some critics would complain that Mega Man wasn't providing anything groundbreaking, as it was the same platforming formula over and over again. However, based on sales, it was clear that there was and still is a market for such a platformer. There are over 50 Mega Man games that spanned across consoles and handhelds. The franchise went on into TV with an animated series in 1994 that ran until 1996. In 2018 though, it would get another chance with Mega Man Fully Charged. It went on to air 52 episodes but was cancelled unfortunately in 2019. Mega Man has made cameos in all sorts of games outside of the franchise, but most notably would be in Marvel vs. Capcom. Mega Man 2 starts with us diving right into picking through 8 bosses, and those bosses consisted of Bubble Man, Air Man, Quick Man, Heat Man, Wood Man, Metal Man, Flash Man, and Crash Man. Each boss had a weakness that is the power of another boss. Throughout the game, players will also realize that certain powers will assist them through each level. After beating the bosses, we move on through what we refer to as the Wily levels. At our last checkpoint, we face Dr. Wily and we see him turn into an alien, or so we think. After defeating the alien, we see that it is just a robot controlled by Dr. Wily. We then see his fortress self-destruct and Wily is finished. That is until Mega Man 3. In today's walkthrough, I will show you how to get through each level, how to defeat each boss, and most importantly, defeat Dr. Wily. It's time to bust out your controllers, put another notch in your completed column, and conquer the game that made the franchise in Mega Man 2. Alright, so here we are. It's Mega Man time, baby. So we're going to start off getting that little E canister here on Metal Man's area. That is where we started off. I know a lot of people think to start with Flash Man, such as myself. I thought the same thing for years, and I decided to look at different strategies and seeing that somebody had posted online to actually start with Metal Man, because you can actually beat Metal Man pretty easy just using your normal shot and without using any sort of abilities. But the irony is that Metal Man is actually a one-hit kill with his own weapon. Yeah, that's right, a one-hit kill with his own weapon. He's the only boss that's like that. But Metal Man's weapon is just it's so good in Mega Man 2. It's much needed, and you will see throughout this playthrough why you need it, and it definitely does not hurt to get it early on. Like I said, I know some people would prefer to get it later and start with Flash Man, but you guys will see exactly why this works going with Metal Man first. But as you can see with this part here with these, I could call them the screws or drills, whatever you want to call them, I call this like the fill-up area, because you can just keep walking back and forth and filling up your life, or trying to fill up, your special weapons, if you will, if you have any, because there will be another section like this later on in the game, which is why I'm bringing that up. And all I was trying to do there was just get myself back to full life. That was it. And then we're just over and onward to that. Be careful with that jump, obviously. There's gonna be another tricky jump coming up here, and it's literally a timing jump, and you have to jump at a certain point, or else you're gonna undershoot it every single time. I kind of forgot to jump right there. But you have to jump when you're like right on the edge, because if you don't, like I said, you'll end up undershooting, and obviously you'll end up dying. But this game, man, it brings up so many good memories. Like I loved the hell out of this game as a kid. And that E, that was that timing jump I was talking about. But that E canister, I wouldn't even worry about it, because you can actually get it from being where you're at, where that jump was at. But if you don't have the number 1 power then to create those platforms, then you're going to be screwed and you're going to die trying to come back around. So that's all I do with Metal Man. I just kind of try to watch how he's throwing the blades and kind of try to jump through them, and kind of just do a continuous like shoot and then jump shot, like just to try to, because obviously you see he just kind of jumps around. So sometimes he'll sit there and sometimes he won't. So now it's over and onward. Now we're going to be going to Flash Man. And I just love Flash Man's music. Don't ask me why. I just really like it. It cracks me up. I think it's a lot of this is just, it's all nostalgia. It really is. But I mean, who can't get taken back by playing some of these games, you know? Like for those of us that grew up when these games were, you know, new or relevant, it's so hard to not get taken back to that spot when you were a kid, you know? But it's so funny though, it's like Flash Man's that level's like ice, even though his special has absolutely zero to do with like ice or anything like that. So those guys, you can see that I try to like, I have a timing pattern on how many hits they take to get. I'm trying to get into that middle spot and I ended up screwing up my jump, but it's alright. And it's like, go figure, when I tried doing this video for you guys is when I screw it up, because I usually get it every other time. And then normally I don't get beat up that much by these things either, but, you know, again, every time I try to do stuff for you guys on a video, I end up like doing some wretched run. But I was trying to make sure that I got my life there. And right here you need to do it. It's a timing jump pattern, so you need to make sure that you do your jumps just right. So that way you'll get this E canister over here. And I was kind of nervous there. I thought I was going to undercut on that jump. And then I forgot that I can't get through there unless I have Crash Man's ability. So then I'll do the same thing here with this part. If I feel like I need more life, which typically I never do on this level, but in the event that I feel like I need more life, I'll respawn that guy back in to try to get some extra life before I go in to fight Flash Man. But doing it this way made it so much easier, using Metal Man's ability on him instead of just going through trying to just use my normal gun. You guys will see. I mean, he dies like super quick. And then that's it. It's super easy. Alright, so now we're going on to Quick Man's level. And we got our number 3, so now we can get that extra life if we need it. And I actually did need that extra life throughout this process. I did well. I was hoping to do a no-death run, but I got all the way to Dr. Wily's first level, and I died on the frickin' boss. And I'll be honest, I usually never die at that boss, but I died at it. And I was so mad at myself. And I think it's because I just buckled under the pressure, because I knew in my head, like, that was going to be my hardest thing. And as long as I got through that, I thought I was going to no-death run it. And then after that, I kind of got sloppy on my play because I was so mad at myself for dying. Then you could use this area too as another way to build up some health if you need to. You can walk back and forth, and I believe that's what I did here, is I kind of went back and forth to try to get some life before going back down and continuing throughout the level. You need to make sure you're jumping too, because if you don't, you'll just keep running into that wall. So here, obviously, you're going to be switching to Flashman's ability, for those that don't know this. And I try to just get through as much as I can of this before using the ability. And then after that, you're smooth sailing. And I was contemplating on this next part coming up if I was going to get the 1-up or not. I just ended up getting I landed on the life, but then I was like, I just better just continue on and just get through this. So then this next section over here, we're going to skip through it because this is going to be another fill-up station is what I'm referring to them as. So I'm going to start killing these guys and respawning them in to get my flash power refilled. Because when you use that ability on Quickman, it drains half of his life, and you guys will see that here in just a moment. Okay, so here we are. We're going to go against old Flash Man. Or Flash Man, Quickman. Don't ask me why I said Flash Man. But all I was trying to do is just get over to the other side of him, even though he'll come back this way. I just wanted to make sure that... And I forgot here that he's immune to Metal Man's ability. And so then after I was like, oh crap, duh, I forgot he blocks it, so... But it's alright, because he's not super hard. So, there you have it. Over and onwards to Woodman's level now. This level's going to be similar as far as having a fill-up station, as I call them. So you can kind of rush through this if you want to. If you're comfortable, that is. I don't know about you guys, but I just always have the habit of constantly hitting the B button when I play Mega Man. Like, I don't know why, but I just do. So you got these dogs. And they're not too hard. The last one's going to be the one that's going to be kind of a pain in the ass. Like, this one's not too bad. It's because where you jump at right there, it's because that little piece of the ceiling that sticks down, that's what I kept getting hung up on. And that's what usually gives me the most problems. But right here is going to be where our fill-up station is. I'm going to show you guys where these bats are at. And I just keep going up and down the ladder until I fill up my life. But I just wanted to show you guys that so you can see my life's back up, all full, and I got a 1-up out of it. So that's always a positive, right? You can never have too many 1-ups, that's for sure. So now I'm going to switch over to Metal Man's ability, and you'll see exactly why, because we got these gorillas that swing up, and then not only that, but we also have these birds that drop the eggs, and we want to try to kill those eggs before they hit the ground, because once they hit the ground, then you have a bunch of little birds that start flying out after you, and it's, you know, it's a pain in the ass to deal with. Then just keep Metal Man's ability to take care of these rabbits. And you'll see why, because coming down here, you're going to be down on a diagonal, so that his weapon works perfectly just to take care of that. And the good thing, too, about Metal Man's ability, it's like you can shoot it so much, and it doesn't really take a whole lot of life off of you. Or not life, rather, but his power. It doesn't take much off of it. And there, it's like you get to... I just got the timing down with those chickens, like when they jump, so I just kind of stopped and let them jump over me instead of switching my weapon over. So you'll be able to see here, Woodman, again, Metal Man's ability is his weakness, so you'll be able to just kind of wait for that shield to come shooting at you, you jump, and I kind of mistimed my jump there, but you'll see. Easy peasy. Alright, Airman's level. This level can be a little challenging for those that are new to the game. And there's lots of ways to die in this one, because it's literally a lot of falling death situations is what can happen. And to be fair, I probably could have just went through this whole level using Metal Man's ability, but I just chose to use the normal blaster because I'm just used to it, I guess, and it doesn't really bother me to use it for the most part until I get to a particular section in the level, which I'll demonstrate for you guys once we get there. But if you don't feel confident in your buster abilities and just using a straight up shot, then I would highly suggest just you can run with Metal, like I said, you can run with Metal Man's ability throughout the entire level if you really wanted to. And this is where I switch over to Metal Man, because you're going to need it here, and you'll see why. Because these guys are going to come at you at different angles. That one was more straight, but you'll see a guy that's going to come up. He's going to spawn in kind of at our 2 o'clock position. So you're going to take care of him. You're going to have a similar situation like with that guy. He was on an angle. And trying to kill him with the buster is just, it's a nightmare. You can do it. I have done it before just to try to, you know, give myself a challenge, but then again, we got these birds with the eggs. You want to try to hit those before they obviously crack, and then you have all those little birds flying after you. So this right here, you can use Flash Man's ability just to freeze everything. And I'm just waiting for those drills to go down, and then now I'm freezing everything and running through. Switching back over. See, you guys see there are those little birds. They're definitely a pain. That's why I was waiting right there, because I don't like doing these little timing jumps when I know those birds are just slowly coming my way. And I thought for a second I was going to die right there, and luckily I did, and I was like, oh my god. Make it all the way, and then die right there, like, come on now. Alright, so Airman, you just got to kind of time out how his little tornadoes come at you so you can jump through them, because I try to just, you know, go through real quick, but you'll see it doesn't take much to really kill him. You only got to hit him twice and he's dead. So now we are over to Crash Man, and this level, again, Metal Man's ability is literally our saving grace because of being able to shoot in just about any direction. Because you got the full 8 directional range. And I think a lot of players might have taken that for granted when we were kids, like how important that ability was going to be for us. And if you wanted to, you could honestly use these little areas right here as a fill-up station as well, if you wanted to, for not only your health, but also Metal Man's ability. I mean, I know this is early on, but I'm just saying, just in general, or if you're low on something else, you could use these little areas, because there's a couple more that are like this. Yeah, this would be the one here if you don't use Metal Man's ability. I mean, you can, like I said, you can do any of this without it. It just makes your life so much easier. So much easier. I mean, could you imagine going through this with just the buster without being able to shoot on the angles like that? Like, it's a pain. And you're definitely going to want to just ride this weapon out the whole rest of the level, because you're going to be doing a lot of climbing, and once you get past this little eddy here, And of course, you don't want to fall like I just did. Because then he'll respawn. I was debating on changing my weapon, but I was like, I might as well just keep it. So now we're going to continue up. And you're going to want to go up that right ladder. Do not go up the left one. You can if you want, but I mean, if you want to actually progress through the level, you're going to want to go up the right one. And this right here is exactly why you need Metal Man's ability, is those birds. And again, could you imagine, you try to do this part without Metal Man's ability, it's just, a headache doesn't even begin to explain the frustrations you're going to be feeling trying to do all that. So if you went up that left one, you could get that E-tank, but I mean, like I said, you'd have to go back down, then go back around. So here we are now, we're about to face Crash Man. I'm going to switch over to the air ability. I could have done that first, but for whatever reason I just didn't. And don't ask me why I'm still fighting him with the metal, because I knew that the air was his ability, but I was like brain farting here for a second. I was like, is it air? Yeah, it is air. So similar with Airman, 2 shots with the Airman's ability on Crash Man kills him. So here we are on Bubble Man's area. And Bubble Man's area is definitely, again, for those that haven't played, you could rock Metal Man's ability here if you really want to be quite frank. But if it's your first time playing this game, the underwater part is going to be challenging because you're going to have these spikes on the ceiling part that if you touch them, you instantly die. And this was the part I was talking about, you'll see here. So you got these little shrimp guys that come at you because they're coming out of the mouth of this big bloated fish that's just hanging out. And you have to shoot that little sphere that's on the top of its head. If you didn't catch that where I was shooting. And again, you don't want to touch those things on top because if you do, you're dead. And I know I guess you could say I'm making this look easy, but I'm telling you guys it's really not. It's just one of those things where I have played the game quite a bit, so I mean it's kind of like almost like muscle memory. Like even though like up until me doing this video, I haven't played Mega Man 2 in God at least 10 years, but it was one of those things where it's like the muscle memory, and the more you're doing it, you're like, oh yeah, I remember this is how I do it. And I think at one point I thought I switched over to Metal Man's ability, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe I didn't. So now once you're out of the water, now you just got to watch out for these crabs. It's primarily those ones that are in between the platforms, because once they spawn and just kill them, and then you know you'll be good. I was all nervous right there because I couldn't remember if a crab was going to come down or not. So now we're going to switch over to Metal Man's ability. We're going to do the same thing, kind of like what we did with Flash Man and stuff. We're just going to basically just blast the hell out of him with these saw blades, and he's going to be dead pretty dang quick. And that's it. So now over and onward to Heat Man. And I remember as a kid, this level used to be so difficult for me. Like, it's hilarious looking back on it, like how easy it is for me now. Because when I was a kid, I thought like those jumps, I used to think they were so difficult to do. Like jumping onto those little pillars, like, oh man, I gotta land on just that little platform right there, that little thing, like. And here I am now, just just blasting right through, like, yeah, it's no big deal. Like this jump right here, I used to die at so many times. It's ridiculous. So then here it's going to be a timing jump pattern with those bricks. And I'm sure you guys kind of picked up on that pattern on how they spawned in. And if you needed to, obviously, you can always rewind it so you can see roughly when they come in. And we're going to be using those bricks again. So here now you can just use Crash Man's ability. You don't even got to screw around with these little bricks and stuff. You just shoot those little things, blow them up, walk right through, and then you're good to go. And then I believe this is going to be the section here where we switch to our number 2. Yeah, because instead of doing this brick pattern that you're going to see, all you gotta do is shoot that number 2, and then it's off to the races. Goes all the way to the wall, and then you're good. I was just filling it up because why? Because why not? So now this is where we go to Heat Man. I just have the habit of switching to Metal Man's ability, but obviously here we're going to be switching to Bubble Man's ability. So once you hit Heat Man, he does this thing where he does that, and I just kind of mistimed my jump there. But you hit him 3 times, and then he's done. So now, we're on to the Wily stages. And I was trying to be all, like, arrogant, like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot these eggs with the buster. And I kept screwing up. So right here, don't waste your number 3, because if you do, you're gonna get stuck, so you gotta make sure that you make these jumps properly. And don't ask me why, but I really liked the music for this level. I really did. And I kept switching back and forth between Metal Man's ability and the number 3 ability. And then obviously I was trying to fill up that number 3 just because I know how this level is. And you guys will see, like, I make a mistake and have to do some refilling action, and I'll show you guys and what I had to do to make sure that I didn't do that again. So switch back to Metal Man's ability. Kill the little thing that spawns in those little boomerang looking things. And you get the what up. Excuse me. But I switched over there because I screwed up using my number 3, and I had to refill, so I had to go back and spawn in those boomerang things and refill up on my number 3 so that way I could get back up. So it takes 5 of the saw blades, and then that thing's dead. Not too bad. So now this is the kind of tricky part here. for those that are new to the game. I know this used to be a hard spot for me as well as a kid. We have to use the number 1 ability. And you have to make sure that you time these out right. And not do what I just did. So then I just fast forwarded because all you're doing is you go up a ladder. So after you go up the ladder, now you go up and you got to fight the dragon. And this timing jump pattern, if you're going too slow, that dragon will spawn in and it's an instant death. So you want to be careful and make sure that you're just cruising. And I know it might sound hard for those that if you're not used to jumping out like that and landing on just like one little brick and stuff. It's just one of those things that you kind of have to do. So now we're going on to Wily level number 2. And same thing, like I said, Metal Man's ability is just like beast mode for like going through levels and progressing. It's so nice. Especially for like the refill stations, as I call them. Like, those things are, it's perfect. So I was trying to fill up that number 2 because this spot right here, I did actually die right here. Not in this spot, but you guys will see. Because I had to redo it, so. There's an E-tank that's there. And then there's other stuff that's right here, but like I said, I died on accident, so I had to redo it. I didn't use a save state, just redid it. I could have used a save state, but I was like, that's alright. So right here, just using Crashman's ability to get that 1-up. And then switching to Metal Man's ability to take care of these guys. You don't have to, but, you know, I like to just take care of enemies if I can, just to be on the safe side. So now we'll get us another E-tank. And this is that other spot I was talking about earlier when it came to the drills. Like, so good. So all I did was I refilled on everything. I just didn't want you guys to painfully watch all that. But I just wanted to show you guys what I was talking about as far as refilling up. So as you can see, like, everything's filled up now. Of course, I have my bad timing right there. And then I just switched to my number 1 here, so that way I can get that life because of my stupidity. I don't know why I put that other platform there because I know I didn't need it, but I did it just to be on the safe side anyways. And you're going to want to use Metal Man's ability here, and you'll see why. I couldn't remember the exact patterns and how these things came at you, but this time I jumped there, of course. And then I'm having to use one of my E-tanks because I was freaking out thinking I was going to die. Because if I got hit one more time, I was done. But I ended up not needing it, but it's okay. Again, it's better to be safe than sorry, right? So now it's over and onwards to the next Wily level. So I just fell straight down because I was like, in my mind I didn't need those E-tanks, or that one E-tank. So I was more confident in my ability. I knew what I was going to be doing, so. If you wanted to, you could. You could go through and use Crashman's ability and get that other E-tank. This part right here is a pain if you've never done this before. Very easy to die right there. So now it's just you gotta switch. You have to strategize on how you use Crashman's ability. Well, no, that's not here. That's the next boss. I'm sorry. I had my levels mixed up. I was thinking it was the one that had the platforms, and then you had to use Crashman's ability. Now this one, I was trying to test out what it was saying on this walkthrough, and to be quite frank, you're better off just using the Buster on this guy, to be honest with you. He was saying to use Heatman's ability and some other stuff, and like, to me it didn't seem like it was working very well. So I was like, I think I'm better off just using the Buster on it, to be honest with you. So because of all that nonsense, I end up having to waste an E-tank. But it's alright. I think that's when I was like, actually I think I tried using Crashman's ability, but then I was like, oh, that's not working out very well, so I better switch over to something else. So that's why I was like, yeah, I just might as well just stick with my normal. And now it's going to be going on to the next Wily level. You're going to want to make sure that you have Crashman's ability completely filled up. And you want to make sure that your number 1 is pretty close to full. You're not going to use all of it, but you just, to be on the safe side. And I was kind of mad right there because I was like, oh, I could have filled up. And you'll fall through the floor in this next section. And you want to be careful on how you jump, and you'll figure out watching me fail a few times. And I used to have this memorized, and I was like, what the hell am I doing wrong here? And then I was remembering, it's like when you're looking at the patterns on the floor, it's you hit the first 2 where there's the square, and then you jump over the third one that has the square. Is what you gotta do. But of course, me, I'm like, what am I doing, man? It's like, I don't ever usually struggle with this. Because normally I would have edited this part out, but I just wanted you guys to see it, so that way you see what I was talking about. And this one's a very similar thing. You'll fall through the floor, so be very wary on this one. So me, just to be on the safe side, I always just use that number 2 because it doesn't use much of it. And this part, I just ignore these guys. I'm like, yeah, I'm not even gonna mess with it. And this you could kind of use as a refill station if you really wanted to, but I didn't because I was at this point just ready to get through the game. And I knew I didn't really have to. And you want to make sure not to just, you know, just drop down off of the ladder before, you know, climbing down, that is. So, or else you'll fall down into those spikes. Again, you just want to, like I said, just be careful. Yeah, like you can see, it's really easy when you're using Metal Man's ability. And I believe this is the last one that we have to do. But you have to jump onto that block before it goes up, or else it'll knock you off, which it almost did to me, and I realized and hurried up and jumped. And then again, I just used the number 2 on this one. So all I did was I refilled right there. That's all I did. I'd refilled some stuff. And now it's over and onwards to this nonsense. So you have to use not only Crashman's ability to kill those little things on the wall, but you also have to use Crashman's ability to kill the... You have to kill the things on the wall and those little doors, if you will. It's kind of riding the struggle bus here. So normally I make that jump, like, pretty easy. So now all you gotta do is go over there, drop down, use Crashman's ability, and then it's defeated. But just again, make sure that you do it exactly how I showed you, because if not, you'll run out of his ability, and then you're gonna end up dying. So now we're just gonna go through and just beat all the bosses over and over again. We know what their weaknesses are. It's pretty simple. So each boss will give you the power-up. And I couldn't remember which ones were in what, so I kept switching to Metal Man, because in the event that I got Metal Man, I know he's just a one-shot kill. You guys see, it's pretty easy at this point as far as trying to just go through these bosses again. Not very hard. I think this, I can't remember if Crashman was the one, but I don't, try not to stand on that platform when you kill the bosses, because there was one of them, I killed the boss right when I was standing on that platform, so I didn't get that refill on life. We're going to fight our last boss, which is Flashman. And he was the one. Yeah. I killed him when I was standing on things, so I didn't get a refill on life. But luckily, I didn't need it. But so now we're going against our lovely Wily boss, which is none other than Dr. Wily and his little spaceship of sorts. And waste my my last E tank. And I didn't even need to. So now, you're just gonna go through and just walk through. It's nothing very complicated. Just switch to Bubble Man's weapon because that's how you're going to kill Dr. Wily as an alien. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit, but you'll see. I'll switch over real quick. Yeah, so now here we are with Dr. Wily turning into an alien, or we think it's Dr. Wily turning into an alien. But in reality, we know it's Dr. Wily is controlling it. It is a robot. And I don't know why my timing was so off on the alien shot. It's not very hard to dodge. I was making it look way harder than what it needed to be. And then there it is. You kill him, and now you have completed Mega Man 2. Congratulations! I hope you guys enjoyed this walkthrough. I hope you guys enjoy going back and playing this game. And let me know if indeed you either have already beaten this game, or you haven't beaten this game and now you're going to go through and try to go through and beat it.